Today we're going to take you on an exciting adventure behind the scenes for a commercial shoot when we were doing some stock footage. Welcome to today's episode of NextWaveTV.
This episode is made possible by CPM Film Tools, your lightweight solution for caging the beast. LCD Viewfinder, the essential accessory for DSLR video. Lightcraft Workshop, the perfect tools to create the perfect image. Manhattan LCD, the affordable solution for high-definition monitoring. GZCam.com, your source for gear reviews, do-it-yourself video, and photography projects.
Hi, this is Tony Reale from NextWaveTV.com and welcome to NextWaveTV. Today I'm joined with Tony Mata. Tony, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I can tell you that I fell in love with photography since I was 13 years old. It all started with a size camera. And my dad used to live in his desk and I would just sneak in and steal it. Actually, I track back from that. I started because my grandmother gave me a camera, a Charlie the Tuna camera.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, and you can actually Google that and you can find it. I think it's a kind of a collector's site. And yeah, I started getting interested in still photography. Awesome. And then later on I discovered a Bolex and I shot film and been shooting film for a long time. In fact, I don't think I grabbed a video camera until, I don't know, 10, 15 years after shooting motion picture film. Mm-hmm. So you can call me a film guy, I guess.
Well, recently you've been working with Image Studios down in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Yes.
And recently, actually just a couple days ago, we're together for a shoot with Getty Images out of New York. For basically, it was a commercial production / stock footage shoot.
That is correct, yeah. I was commissioned to do this shoot, commercial. I have a 15 years working relationship with Getty. And I proposed to the client that I could do the job and also at the same time produce some stock footage. And so when I saw the need to have extra camera people and have a larger crew, that's when it occurred to me, well, let's call Tony Reale. Which was the best decision I made. I had a blast.
That was a lot of fun.
I had a blast. And that, put all those DSLRs to the test.
Yeah, we had, basically it was a 4-camera shoot. We shot on, you used a 7D, I shot on a 5D. Mm-hmm. I had a 60D, which is what filmed the behind-the-scenes footage that you're about to see.
And my beloved EX1.
And the EX1. So basically what we're going to do is we had Sean Bowers film some behind-the-scenes footage for us as we were shooting. And we're going to basically take you on that journey, do a commentary, oddly enough, of behind-the-scenes footage, and tell you how the day went, and hopefully some tips, and you can learn some stuff. So let's go ahead and get started.
Let's check it out.
All right, so here we go. Unloading the truck. What size truck is that you guys have?
It's a 16-foot, considered a 3-ton truck. The name of my company is Meridian Studios. We're based out on Appleton. We have this 3-ton truck, and it's pretty much fashioned in the style of any motion picture film company. Yeah. Everything's on wheels. Everything's movable. Makes it easy. Yeah, you see all the shelves there? Yep. They come in and out of the truck into the studio, and everything's ready to go.
Nice.
It's one of my favorite lights. There's an HMI there, 1200 par HMI.
All right, so you got the doorway dolly set up.
Yeah, that's one of the new ones from Matthews. They call it a roundy round, and it basically, as you turn, all the wheels turn. It's pretty handy when handling tight curves.
That would be nice. I'll have to try one of those out sometime.
Yeah, I see your rig there and your cool monitor there, man. I'm jealous.
I'm on camera. Let me tell you the truth about Tony Reale.
The truth is that
he's a hot shot because he's got a better monitor than I do, but I'm going to show him otherwise.
All right, so here's the HMI again.
This one is the Joker. That's a Joker Bug 800 watts, and if I had to choose one light to keep one light, that will be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they had half CTO on there. Was that right?
Yeah. No, quarter CTO, just to warm it up a little bit. You can see my size lenses there. I have a 25 mounted on the camera, on the 5D. I really like those CF lenses. They're incredibly sharp.
Yeah. I had them for a while, but I wasn't using them to the best of the price tag on them, so I kind of went back to Canon lenses.
Grosseille matte box, and it's all set up on a very simplified version of my Red Rock Micro rig.
I see you go back and forth between Grosseille and Red Rock here. Do you like them both, or?
I like them both. I chose the Grosseille because I figure I wasn't going to be shooting a lot of backlight, and if I did, I wanted to have flares.
Okay.
So I like the Red Rock for more controlled. You know, it's got all the flags. It's a very good matte box.
If you guys saw there on the top of my 5D, I had some masking tape. It's good too when you have multiple shoots with multiple gear. It's good to have your stuff labeled so that things don't get mixed up.
Yeah.
So here we're trying to figure out, you know, the light. Those are actually stained glass windows, and they're really beautiful. But in full daylight, we didn't have massive amounts of ND filters or ND gel that we could just throw over the top of the windows, and we didn't have 16K lights that we could drop in to bring up the ambient light. So we kind of had to make a little bit of a sacrifice.
See, as a film cinematographer, that would have been absolutely no problem. You have all the latitude in the world, but now with digital, it's just, for me, it's a little harder to accomplish. But we did it. We pulled it off.
Mm-hmm. So there's the EX1 back there. You're using for.
You see the temperature there from the stained lights? It was a pretty interesting color temperature. I really loved it.
Yeah. And there's your Marshall.
Yeah, which I'm probably going to sell and buy a Manhattan.
It's a beautiful monitor.
It's sharp.
All right, so yeah, here we're trying to figure out the settings. I was showing you how to shoot a little flatter, so that we could bring back some of the shadows and the highlights. Because the default settings on the Canons, the sharpness is in the middle and the contrast is in the middle, but that's actually adding contrast. So we pulled both of those out and then brought down the saturation just one notch, and that allowed us to bring back not a ton, but a little bit of the stained glass windows and some of the shadows that were a little too dark because we had to stop down or ND down. So I think that helped a little bit when we were shooting.
Yeah, it helped. It also helped, bring up the levels inside as well. It was nice to have some powerful HMI lights too.
Yes. Yeah.
So
you can't just do all the camera settings. You have to actually light too.
I did extensive testing on the ISO as well, and I remember setting my camera settings on 0, and I was completely clean blacks. I was really happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
But bringing them down below 0 added extra latitude, which was very welcome.
Okay.
Yeah. See how I like to combine my Kino tubes?
Yeah, you're adding a
3200 plus daylight, so half and half. That's what we balance for.
And
those.
it helped too because the windows were kind of a yellow and you had daylight coming through there, so that allowed you to kind of color balance to the windows as they were.
Well, and see, at that point, I'm not trying to color balance. I was basically the situation. There's Robert Pascal, he's the director. We've been working with Robert for 15 years, incredibly creative guy. But anyway, at that point, it's not about balancing color anymore. It's about basically finding the color that's a little more pleasant because it's already mixed temperatures, and you can't really decide. Well, now I am at 3200. I'm going to look daylight. At this point, it's more. There's the color temperature is pretty much all over the place, and so you have a palette of color, and you're just adding another color that it's going to add and not look, or add an unwanted color temperature. So it's more of a, like I said, like painting with light.
And so here we're getting everything established for the dolly shot.
Yeah,
that was one of the
this is
big
what we
shots.
call blocking the shot, as you know. We had lots of extras there, and then with the procession, coming through, through the wedding, and we wanted to time it all perfectly. We wanted to have some foreground element. We were discussing there with Robert, and we're just testing this one over and over.
Fortunately, the floor was very smooth, so we didn't have to lay any track
Yeah,
down.
can you believe that? That was just no track.
Yeah, I was very impressed.
Look at that.
Especially with carpeting, because I've used carpeting, doorway dollies on carpeting, and not gotten as good of results. Now, granted, you were pretty wide too, so that helped.
Yeah, that was a 25 millimeter lens on a full sensor. I mean, picture that. You can imagine.
Mm-hmm. So now here, I think
That's Josh holding. You know, he's just getting ready for the 24 to 70, but we never put it in there.
Yeah, I think here you were having an issue that he was getting too hot as he got to the right up to the
To the
end of his-
HMI,
yeah.
to the end of the run. And that's when I instructed him to add a little bit of a cutter. Well, not a cutter. It was more of a net.
So here we were seeing where he was blocked by the extras so that you could easily bring in the net without it being obvious that you were changing
Correct.
the intensity of the light.
So in other words, we coordinated that split second where our talent is being blocked, and that at that exact same second, the gaffer Josh will sneak in a net in front of the light, and then that will correct for the excessive exposure.
Yep.
And it would be seamless because you didn't saw the talent.
All right, so we finished up the dolly shot.
That's my
and
favorite jib, by the way. It's not a, and that's my.
Those are O'Connor legs.
Those are O'Connor legs, standard of the industry in Hollywood. Those things, I mean, you can literally put 2 people on top of that thing. It's amazing.
They are rugged. I was very
Oh my
impressed.
gosh. And the Campbell jib is that's made in
The
Holland.
right way to set up a jib arm.
They teach us, huh?
Yeah.
Do it. This is called the Badass 2. This is the Badass 2 jib arm.
Now, the truth of the matter is that this jib is so precisely made. I mean, once it's perfectly balanced, you let go of the jib, it's not going to swing away from you. It's going to stay exactly where you left it.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the control that it has for friction. It's just second to none.
You know,
Also,
I'm saving my pennies for a Kessler crane right now. I would love to try the two against each other and see how well we can,
yeah,
can pull off.
I bet mine would be better.
Well, I hope for the price tag.
Yeah, oh yeah. There's that. That's also an O'Connor 1030 head.
That's a beautiful head. I want
It's a
one of those.
beauty. Again, it's
Those
a,
will stand up to anything.
yeah, very, very.
How long have you had that head?
I've had about 3 years. I use it to work with red as well. It's a very good balance
Yeah.
for red rigs and.
Can you?
Alexa or
Do you
film?
need a good, like a full rig like that on that head or does it work well with just the Canon by itself?
On the jib, you mean?
On the head. Will it run fine with just the camera, or do you need to have like a matte box to weigh it down?
No, the head actually it has from 0 to 11. You know, if we want to use Spinal Tap lingo, it basically doesn't have clicks like Sackler's or other heads.
We're gonna, as we roll, as we pull dolly, we're also gonna crane down. It has to be all perfectly smooth and basically coordinated at the same time.
So yeah, to answer your question, you can use a small lightweight camera, and the head will just basically the drag control can be adjusted.
Yeah, back there.
I
was
love this
using-
film, this shot. That's where I always strive in my work. I'm always thinking of any job, whether it's a commercial or any piece. I'm always imagining I'm shooting a movie,
Mhm.
and that's how I approach the blocking, the choice of angles, the lighting. And, you know, that's what I can call myself a director of photography. You know?
On being able to have the gear.
There's Joseph. Sorry
Yeah.
interrupting, but
That's
there's Joseph. He did a fantastic job on the makeup and wardrobe.
And this is a good time to talk about that. Like it wasn't just people showed up and were extras. They had wardrobe, they had makeup, they had set design, they had, later we'll see an ice sculpture. They had people that came in and built the ice sculpture specifically for the shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Back there, I want to talk about that. We cut away from it real quick, but you're using a C-stand arm to try and extend
To
your...
try to extend the head. It didn't grant the extension of the jib didn't grant the expense of renting a remote head.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, it's such a as you can see the move. All I need is just an extension from the arm.
Right, just so you could keep it in...
A little
in
tilt.
tune. Yep.
So we're pulling dolly, we're tilting down, and we crane down.
And you also have your focus puller there, obviously.
Yeah, Josh is pulling focus. That guy's a freaking animal. He can pull focus with his eyes closed.
We'll have to have Josh on for a couple episodes, too.
Often I will say, okay, Josh, what is it's Joe, grip extraordinaire, and also cameraman.
Now here you were just getting some locked off shots.
You see how we're drifting sideways?
Mhm.
Just a little bit of a dolly effect, floating
Just to
effect.
add a little motion.
Yeah, very subtle.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point too. Is that you don't always have to have, when you're doing a locked off shot, it doesn't have to be stationary. You can add a little bit of movement just to give some life to the shot.
Correct.
I think a lot of people have the habit of they just have a tripod, they stick their camera on it, and if they're doing a shot that doesn't have movement in it, they are afraid to add anything else.
I totally agree with you. It's just always, even if it's the slightest of moves, it just adds elegance to the shot.
Mm-hmm. And now here we're setting up for you had a hand model that was subbing in for
the real one.
Yep.
And then see,
So we're tearing down right now from our shoot in the sanctuary area, and we're starting to move towards the reception. It's been going pretty good. It makes sense why they don't do this for regular weddings, because this would take forever. We've been going since, pre-production started at noon, production started at 2, and it's just going crazy. It's, 6:15 right now, and we just got done with about 3 minutes of footage for our wedding. So it's going great though, and we've got still a lot to do before the night's over. Yeah, so now we were moving to the reception, recreating the reception. We had to add an extension.
Add an extension to the jib, which makes it even harder to operate, but I think just the added height was just welcome. That was very nice. You can see now we switched to the EX1.
Now you want to explain why you did that?
I did that because I really wanted to have depth of field forever. And, the smaller chipset on the EX1 allows you that. You have, it's the camera that uses big camera, with Public Enemies, because that's what the aesthetic they chose. They didn't want controlled depth of field. They want to have, look at that, we got a good shot. Robert and I read each other's minds, It's just, that's how long we've been working. There's my wife, Julie, there. Producer extraordinaire.
And I was kind of floating around doing handheld shots. And
You did a fantastic job,
Thanks, appreciate
Tony. I really like the organic, style that you put into it. I think it's going to intercut beautifully with this very elegant moves, of the jib. See that crane just going in front? The how do you call it? The eye sculpture becomes first the subject, and as the jib keeps moving, it just becomes foreground element. It just looks beautiful, and it reveals the party behind.
And here you're having actual extras walk in just for more elements.
I always like people crossing my lens. Sometimes people see it as an accident, but a lot of times it happens. It just looks. It can add more people. You can have a small amount of extras, but you add a couple of people walking in front of the lens as a blur, and it just gives you the illusion that there's more people than there really are.
Yep. And here they're having Robert was going around with me trying to get some crowd shots and intermingling. And
oh yeah, this happened impromptu. I mean, I remember they were setting up for a next shot, correct? Is that they were just rearranging?
Yep.
So you guys, I just saw you guys taking off. That was fun.
Yeah. And so that's all the behind-the-scenes footage that we had. After that point, Sean actually became our fourth camera operator, and he was picking up footage. We ended up doing the dance scenes, and that kind of went crazy, so we needed as many people going at the same time as possible. So we don't have any behind-the-scenes footage after that point, but we can talk a little bit about it. We did do a lot of handheld stuff for the dance footage, kind of gave it that energy. And that's where having zoom lenses really came in handy, because there's one point where I shot straight for about 4 minutes, and I was going between wide and telephoto and just going back and forth depending on how the shot looked and there's times where I wanted that wide action in your face, and then there's times where I wanted it to be more intimate and very very cropped onto one person. So it helped to have that. I was using my 24 to 105 f4 for that. Shooting any faster than that would have been kind of hard in that fast movement. So, and we had enough light to work with.
Oh yeah, I always make sure there's enough light.
Yeah,
that's the thing. But I don't like it to look lit.
Yep.
And that was the trick. We're going to be covering the area from several angles, different cameras, and to be able to achieve that and not look like it's lit is the trick. To make it look just natural, that it hasn't been staged. And that also goes to say, as far as the style of shooting, as the style of production that I like to design for my shoots is, as opposed to the shoots that I do for commercials or other corporate jobs, where everything's staged, rehearsed, the actors have to hit their marks, and you have a specific storyboard to fulfill. When I shoot with Robert, we basically call it control chaos. We basically design a situation, we light it, just, so it looks just, you saw it, just beautiful.
Yeah.
And then we just set parameters. Okay, we decide we cannot travel any further than here, or you cannot not see any more than this background. Actors shouldn't be. We just give parameters to everybody, to cameramen, to actors, and you saw it. Then we just all let loose.
Mm-hmm.
It was just completely spontaneous.
Yep.
And I'm sure you experimented. I
Well,
just felt that sense
we
of
had-
freedom. You don't have to follow a specific. First of all, you don't have a monkey on your back, which
Yeah.
is what a lot of times happens. But also, it's like playing jazz. I like to equate it to that, because you have parameters. You have a specific set of rules, if you want to call them. I call them more parameters. And after that, once you're there, you experiment. You're able to improvise, and then you have beautiful talent, beautiful lighting, a great crew, man, and the rest was fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's an important thing to remember. Going back to what we talked about earlier, is that they hired talent. They had a full production team there. They had extras. The bride and the groom were not married. They were talent, and they were hired to look pretty and to do their job. And that made all of our lives easier when they were able to do that and know what was required of them.
Yeah.
And then, of course, lighting, having a good lighting kit, especially for the size of that room. You were shooting on, HMIs and your Jokers and your Kinos and everything that, which were barely enough during the daylight scenes. They were great for the reception, because that was, obviously we're relighting it.
Yeah.
So you're not fighting sunlight. But having that much lighting equipment was necessary for a job of that scale, to at least pull it off to that level.
Absolutely. And for anybody watching this podcast, you don't have to own the lighting. There's a lot of companies that they rental companies that they provide to the film community. But not only that, they also provide to the student community. So a lot of deals are to be had over there when somebody's making an experimental film, or you're working a project for that you want to enter a festival with. You just talk to these people, and you'll be surprised how much they will be able to help you. So yeah, HMIs are not out of the realm of things if you talk to the right people.
Yeah, rentals for HMIs aren't that bad. Buying the HMIs will set you back.
That'll set you back. Yes, tell me about it.
All right. Well, I think that ends it for this episode. And again, thanks, Tony, for joining us.
Thanks for helping us on the shoot. We should be planning the next one then.
Definitely. And hopefully we can plan on some great episodes for training to help you guys out. So definitely subscribe. We'll put a link to Tony's website so you can check out some of his other work and garner inspiration, as I have. Just some amazing work that he's done, and lots of experience out there. So anyways, be sure to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, NextWaveTV.facebook.com. You can also check us out on Twitter, which is twitter.com/Tony Reale. And be sure to stay tuned for our other episodes coming soon. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.